Good evening, everyone. Here's a quick look at our local weather midweek update. Today is the 17th of June, 2026. And this is a quick look at our weather for the next several days into the weekend. We typically do our full updates on the weekends. And then, if needed, we'll take a look in the middle of the week. There's been some changes to the forecast. So, we do have a stalled front. It's been kind of hanging out here. This is going to kind of wobble around and fade, but it's also acting as a pipeline as we have a tropical cyclone out in the Gulf, and it's kind of pulling a lot of moisture from it and taking it up across the south. Now, the bulk of that moisture from that tropical cyclone, we'll take a closer look at it in just a little bit, is going to go north of us, but it will help juicing up the atmosphere here a little bit. So thunderstorms around, but not that many around us. It's we actually had a pretty dry day. A clipping shower and thunderstorm clipped through the southern part of the county this afternoon. But most areas stay dry today. But things will be amping up as we go into the future. So let's get into the tropics real quick. So we do have the only action in town right now is Tropical Storm Arthur. This tropical cyclone formed earlier today, and just taking a look at the wind and all that stuff from it. Right now, the wind risk is primarily, it's not that strong, it's not that big of a tropical cyclone. So your highest risk of getting sustained gale force winds or tropical storm force winds is typically in this area right here along southeastern Texas. As you can tell, not even remotely close to Florida or us. And what about the track? Where do they think it's going to go? This is where they think it's going to go right now, with the center making landfall. Here's your tropical storm warnings right here, and in the center moving ashore and then dissipating as it moves into eastern Texas. But all the moisture from this is going to kind of move along and bring some flooding problems to some folks. Now, we are in the marginal risk area of flash flooding from this system. The bulk of the moisture is going to go up over southern Mississippi, into southern Alabama, central Georgia. And so anywhere in this red area here is where we're going to have a risk of some flooding. But where we are only going to see a very minor risk of that. And so not that big of a deal for us. So again, focusing on key messages with this system. So potentially life-threatening flash flooding is possible through Friday. Again, southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, southern Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. That's the main concerns with this. Well away from Flagler County. Tropical storm force winds and gusts are expected along the upper Texas and Louisiana coast the next few hours where the tropical storm warnings are in force. Again, this is a very low-end system, and it's not affecting us here in Flagler County, but I'm just kind of using it as kind of a review of where we get our information and how we present tropical information. So just taking a look at, again, a closer look now. Again, this is the area where your tropical storm force winds are. This is the area that's under warning, only along the coast. It's not extended inland. And this is where the center is going to go. But again, I want folks to note that even though the center is here and the cone is here, the weather is extended well off to the east of where that tropical cyclone is going in. So again, it's important not to get lost in the cone. You need to look at the warnings, what's going on for you. That's what you need to look at with tropical cyclones. So let's take a closer look now back at home, taking a look at what is expected from the National Weather Service. So possibility of a few isolated strong or severe storms Thursday and Friday. Main concerns will be gusty winds, frequent lightning, and torrential downpours. So any of those storms will carry those risks. Hot and humid conditions will continue. Actually, will return Thursday and then continue into the weekend. Potential heat advisory conditions will be possible. Anything temperatures, any heat index numbers at 108 or higher can trigger a heat advisory. And again, those heat index numbers are important because that's what it feels like. And what it feels like is how your body is going to react to it. So let's take a quick look here at what's going to be expected as we go through the next few days with temperatures here. High temperatures today, generally mid-90s here. It was quite warm out there. Tomorrow, mid to upper 90s for highs. Friday, lower 90s. And then Saturday, right around 90, so cooling off a little bit if you want to call it that. And then right around 90 on Sunday, and then 93 or so on Monday. And then Tuesday, temperatures start inching back up. Rain chances will be decreasing then, but we're looking at temperatures peaking right around 97 degrees at inland locations. So, and even 90 at the beaches. So what about low temperatures? Let's take a look at that right now. So let's take a look at expected lows. Daily low temperatures for the rest of the week. largely staying in the 70s, so mid to upper 70s each day. You'll find warmer numbers at the beaches and cooler numbers as you go inland. But apparent heat temperatures, and this is important, the heat index. So what does that matter? So tomorrow we're looking at heat index numbers approaching 109 degrees. That is flirting with heat advisory criteria right there. They may hang one up for tomorrow. So 110 degrees at some inland locations, 109 Palm Coast, 103 Flagler Beach, 100 degrees at Marineland. Friday, we get a little bit of a break, only up to 102. So, but still, that's kind of heat index you'd normally expect for Florida. Yes, there is, even though it's only 10 degrees, there is a big difference from this to that. And then Sunday, about 100, 102 degrees. That's on Saturday, rather. Sunday, about the same. And then Monday, we start climbing back up again, 105 or so. And then Tuesday, we really start to climb back up. This is several days out, so these numbers can change, but approaching 109 degrees again on Tuesday. So we've not had any heat advisories issued just yet from the National Weather Service. So let's take a look at our precipitation chances. Today, it was kind of a minimal day, about a 30% chance, and that one thunderstorm kind of clipped through the southern part of the county. That's where you got bulkier rain. Tonight, largely dry. Tomorrow, a little bit better chance, up to about 50 to 60, 65%, maybe 70%, focusing in the eastern part of the county. Again, 1 and 2 storms could be strong. Tomorrow night, down to about maybe 30%. And then Friday, we're back up to about 50%. Maybe it's trimmed back a little bit. The forecast for Friday's been kind of fluctuating. It's been anywhere from 30 to 50%. Right now, they're settling on 50% chance of showers and storms. And then Friday night, dwindling down to about 10%. And then Saturday, it's not going to be a washout, folks, but everyone's probably going to see a few showers and storms during the course of the day on Saturday, with rain chances approaching 90%. Saturday night, those rain chances dwindle down, and then the rain chances come up to about 40% on Sunday. Sunday, the pattern's going to change. We could see onshore flow, and that would begin to drive to higher rain chances inland. And then you can kind of see that reflected on these rain chances here, down to about 20% on Monday, 0 on Monday night. And then Tuesday, about 20%. Tuesday night, about 20%. So the best chance of rain next several days is going to be Friday. And it looks like Thursday and Saturday look to be the highest rain chances at this point. So let's talk about wildfires right now, because we've had a few out there. Even though the soil is moister now and we're not in critical wildfire issues with the soil moisture, that's important to know. We're still in a drought. That drought has improved, but the soil moisture is not at critical values. Even with that, we still have had a few fires break out. So the more notable one is out here off of Water Oak Drive in Mondex, also known as Daytona North. About 65 acres. It is 100% contained. There is still some hot spots and stuff out there, but the Florida Forest Service and Flagler County Fire Rescue are keeping tabs on that one. We had another one out here in the northwest part of the county, 4 acres, no big deal with that one. Then we had another one down here, Carter Trail is called, about 12 acres. And all of these are lightning related. And we've got a few bigger fires out there, including this guy. This one is about 300 some odd acres. And then even though it's not on my map, Lake Woodruff National Refuge is a big fire down there. Forestry doesn't have it on their map because it's not one they've responded to. The only fires that'll be on this are the ones that forestry responds to. But Lake Woodruff down here, there's a big fire, about 2,700 acres. So with the southwest flow, you might notice a drift smoke and smell that coming up from the southwest, especially in those wee early morning hours. So that's going to wrap it up. Again, pretty good chance of showers and storms tomorrow. A little bit lesser chance on Friday. Really good chances on Saturday. Minimal chances on Sunday as the pattern changes a little bit. And then we go into a drier pattern, but a hotter pattern as we start into early next week. So unless something dramatic happens, we will be back on Saturday with the latest. Everybody out there, have a great evening.